Okay, so Grandad, what do you remember about your childhood home?
I remember from about 6 years old. I was brought up in a street named Chaussee Road with my aunt who brought me up. I went to the RC school, which is a Roman Catholic boys' school, until I was about 14. I had to leave school early because of my father's was very sick. He was sick. And living in the country, I had to spend a lot of time in the country with my dad to help him with the farm. He was a farmer. Help him with the farm, look after the animals, and help him with the garden and all this kind of thing. About 16, I decided to learn a trade. By this time, I went back to Castries and started to learn a trade. But it was difficult to me because I had to go up and down. If I do 2 days in the shop, I got to do 3 days up in the country to help my dad and the rest of the children because he was sick, couldn't look after the kids. My father died at the age of 49. And I was about 20 at that time, maybe 20. And it was full blown to look after 9 other kids and the children. How did I do that? I used to go down to Castries, do 2 days work with Public Works Department, which was learning the young people trade. It's a government project. And I had to do the rest in the country. Like a Saturday and a Sunday, I'm in the country helping the farm. In the garden, do the land, plant the garden, and help my dad. Until he died, I really died 1949, I think.
And what was it like raising your brothers and sisters?
Yeah, well, it was difficult. It was a bit difficult. Because I was the eldest, and they always at school. I had to work my mom was a housewife. She never worked out. She used to work in the garden, weed the garden, sell the provision, and with what I could bring, we make ends and send the other sisters and brothers to school. My last brother did not get to school as he should have, because I was grown up now, and all the rest before him was about to start working or busy at school. So my last brother didn't take a good schooling.
Okay. How did you meet Granny?
Well, I met Granny. Granny was working in a bakery opposite to where I used to live. Yes, and every time I come to work, I look in the jalousie and I can see her walking in and out the bakery. And I used to whistle. I used to whistle to her, and she used to come out, and we become friends at that time. Yeah.
Okay. What were the best qualities you liked about her?
Yep.
What were the best qualities you liked about her?
Oh, the best quality, she was no weak person. Yes, and she gave me a long time before I can get near her. Yes, yeah. I had a lot of trouble before I can get near her. But we used to go out, go on to pictures, go and look at showcase. In those days, that's what you could do. Go down to town, look at showcase, and she had to go in at a certain time. Then she had to go in a certain time. She got to get in a certain time because she was living at someone, a friend of her mom in Castries, because her mom was living in Mikot. Yes, so I had to take her in at a certain time.
Okay. Yeah, so your decision to leave St. Lucia, How long were you planning to stay for in England? How long were you originally planning to stay for?
I left St. Lucia with the intention to say, well, I'm going to come up for 5 years. I say, well, look, if things goes well with me, I will do 5 years. When I came up here, I find work, which is what I was looking for, of course. I wanted work. St. Lucia, well, could not maintain me or whatever, put it this way. And I came up here to look for work. And I find work the very second day I arrived. I find work. And I never stopped working up to now.
And what did you work as?
So,
What did you work as?
I worked as a chippy, not a full chippy, because I couldn't really learn the trade in St. Lucia. When I came up here in 1960, I went to school. I went to school to learn the basic of carpentry, to learn the fairy part of it, and that's where I survived. I become a carpenter, a real carpenter in England.
Why did you choose carpentry and not another trade?
Yeah, well, carpentry is something that I did like from I was a little boy. And I did part of it in St. Lucia, as I say, between up and down in the country, and do woodwork, because our carpentry in St. Lucia in those days, we had no machinery. Everything was done by hands. You plane the boards by hand, you groove and tongue it, or you rebate and spring it by hands. You build your own tools, and this and that, you see. So when I came up here, I thought, well, let me go and get the thing into books. So I went to school, and I ended up with a little bit of paper that, yes, and that got me through.
Okay. And was England the only option, or was there any other places you were planning to go?
Up here?
Yeah, was England the only option for you?
No, I have no option in England but carpentry. That's what I did, and that's what I did love, and I enjoyed it very, very much. I worked in many constructions, the civil, the engineering constructions. I work on the river, which is something I practice in St. Lucia as well. Work on the jetty. When I came up here, I find work in the Woolwich ferry, building the Rouge Spare. I built that. I worked down the bottom of the river, built that there. Then I left there after that finished. I was working with Maple Ridgeway. Maple Ridgeway is an engineering. They did wharves and everything like that. Then I moved to Silvertown with Morlams, building Victoria Dock. All that is in the river work. And I remember I used to work on the river against the tide. When the tide's up, I will work. When the tides go down, I cannot work.
Yeah.
And those days was winter, that was the 60s. And I had a big bucket of fire burning. When the tide is low, I sit on a shore and I'm burning my timber. I used to use an auger, what do you call it, compressor auger, they put it this way,
Yeah.
to bore 2 foot of timber, Grandad, one on top of the other, to bore that, to go down, to put a big bolt, what do you call to do the dolphin, on the river there those days, it was a dolphin. There wasn't a wharf, it was a dolphin. The barge used to come to the dolphin to deliver goods, and I work in all this.
So, Grandad, how did you feel when you had to leave some of your children behind?
How did I feel?
Yeah, so how did you feel when you had to leave some of your children behind when you came
How
to
did I
England?
feel? Oh, it wasn't easy to leave my kids behind, but then I know that if I survive, they will survive. Yes, sir. So I came up here, and when I did survive, I had them to survive. I took them up. You see, because when I say I got work to do, when I find work, I find out I will not go back to St. Lucia in due time. So what I had to do is to bring my children up.
Okay. So how was the boat journey like?
Yeah. Well,
What
before
was
I
the
bring the
boat
children up, I took the wife up. I bring my wife up. After a year, we began to bring the children up. Yeah.
Okay. How was the boat journey like?
How
was the boat journey like from home to here?
Oh, the boat journey. It took me 12 days to get here. On what we used to call a tourist boat those days. It wasn't a cruise ship, it was tourist boat. Those boats used to carry up and down tourists, people to tourists. That boat was called the Bianca Sea.
Was it a small boat, right?
I came up, but we were separated from tourists when you get up there. Because you were immigrants, you wasn't supposed to mix with tourists. Yeah.
Cool. Early days in England, what fears, worries did you have when you migrated to the UK? So what fears, worries did you have when you migrated to the UK?
What?
What fears and worries?
No, I got no worries at all.
Really?
No, I had no worries at all. No worries at all. Because I left my children in good hands.
Who did you leave them with?
I left them with my aunt, the aunt who brought me up. And she brought them up. I left them with her. And it was in good hands. When I say good hands, she wasn't a working woman, but she knows how to bring up children. And she brought them up as the same as she brought me up. Yeah, easy.
Did you get homesick?
No.
No?
No, I never got homesick. The reason why I didn't get homesick, I came here to do what I wanted to do, and I got it. And I was very happy. Always happy. I expect I was getting cold up here, because I had a cousin that was living here. When I wrote to her, I said, I'm going to come up. She discouraged me, say, oh, England is too cold, don't come up. Yes. But I didn't take her advice. I arrived on her without she knows. But I know her address because we used to ride each other. So living in Lehigh Road, 253 Lehigh Road at that time, I took the boat there, went to Tenerife, Barcelona, and I took the ferry from Barcelona to Dover. From Dover, it was a few of us, there were about 6 of us left, St. Lucia at that time, because nobody wanted to leave St. Lucia, because there was a saying that the war was just ended. And there was a saying that, you're going to get yourself into war. You're going to take your soldiers or whatever. Yeah. But when I get to Dover, we got the train Dover to Victoria. I got off from Victoria with my little case, take a cab or taxi, and say I want to go to Lehigh Road. Lehigh Road, I got there about 1 o'clock in the morning because we end up to Victoria very late. I knocked the door, there was a lady downstairs who come out, the white lady, come out named Mrs. Shepherd. Okay, come out and say, well, who do you want? Who do you want? I said, Mrs. Dijon lives upstairs. He says, yes. Where are you coming from? I said, I just arrived from St. Lucia. I knocked the door and called Mrs. Dijon. Mrs. Dijon come down, which is my cousin. Boy, what are you doing here? Boy, I tell you not to come up in this cold. And it was a September month, which is what cold, of course. Boy, I tell you not to come up here. What? Come in. I came in, and I slept for the night. The next morning, her husband took me and said, well, look, you've got to go and sign. place where I used to sign in Catford there, I forgot the name of the road there. In Catford, they would bring me there to sign in Catford. Bring my passport and what is that? I got a job the same day. Same day, next day, they sent me to work. With a firm named A.J. Kills. A.J. Kills, I started working in Scotland. That's a Bromley there.
Yeah.
Scotland. I went to work the next day, or knowing everybody got their own cup on site. Everybody got their own cup on site. So when tea time, she shouted, I went to the canteen. I look at the cups here, all the cups was black and dirty. Because those days Englishmen don't wash the cups. No, they don't wash the cups. You see, if they wash the cups, they take away the taste of the tea. So all the cups, I look and I took the cleanest cups. It was a man cup that I took up. When he comes to find his cup was missing. And I had it. He took his cup from me and he threw away the tea. I felt so bad. Because I said, oh, it's just because I touched a man's cup. And I was the only black man on site at that time. So I stayed without tea that day. The next day, I bring my cup in. Because everybody has got their cup. One day, I used to take the bus, the truck from Catford to Scotland. One day I missed the bus. I decided to walk up to Scotland. Walk up the Bromley Road, get to the Gap, went up to Scotland. I met a lady. He says, where you going? I said, I'm going to work. He says, oh, I'm afraid you might get shot. There's no black people on this area. Yeah. And I feel so bad. I say, but look, why somebody can look at me and shoot me because I am black? Anyway, I reached on site. Everybody said, how comes you missed the bus? I say, well, I was late. I missed the bus. Anyway, I worked that day. Going back after that, we're going back home, and I never take the chance to walk up that road again. If I'm late, I go back. I go back home. Yeah. The other thing that nearly kills me again. My aunt's husband, when I arrived, he had a little radio, and he says to me, "You see that little radio? Don't touch that. Don't touch that, you know." And as he turned his back, I turned the knob. I turn the knob, and when he comes from work, he finds the knob was turned. He says, "What? You turned that knob?" I say, "No, I didn't." He says, "Yes, you turned it, because that's what wasn't on that station there." And that is one of my biggest experience, you know, and I feel hurt, you know, to pull me up because I turned like a knob. Mm. Yeah, and he was annoyed. He wasn't like that at all. He didn't like it. Mm. He didn't like it. Told me off. There was no television at those days. If you had a little thing that I used to call it a little wireless to take the news from, and that's what he had. And he went to work that day, and I turned the knob. Couldn't put it back to the station. I didn't know it was on the station anyway, but he knew. I told him that. When he came back, he saw the knob was turned, the station was missing. He told me off. Yeah, but I survived anyway. Yeah.
That's good. So how did you react to the racism?
Yeah.
How did you react to the racism?
How do I?
How did you react to racism?
How did you react to the racism?
Oh, well, It was, yeah, well, I had to take it. I had to take it. I got races. I had to take it. I was working one night. I was working one time in Liverpool Street. I didn't want to let overtime goes, because I know I come here to work. I took all overtimes I could have got. And one night I come from work about 11 o'clock. I couldn't do overtime. I was waiting for the bus in Liverpool Street station there. 2 coppers passed. And those days they was delivering milk in big buckets, big cans. And I remember there was that can by the shop there, and that police kicked the can. He kicked it, and he says to me, "You go and pick it. You go and pick that can and put it up there." I said, "But I didn't kick the can." He said, he says, "You go and pick it. Otherwise you're going to arrest." They threatened to arrest me. When I pick up the can, I place it where they wanted me to place it. And that was about 11 o'clock in the night after I worked overtime. Yes, I couldn't live overtime. Mm-hmm. Every time there's overtime, everywhere I work there's overtime, I will take it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that was one time I got racist. Yes, Teddy Boys was out there, they never troubled me. Mm-hmm. I never got troubled by Teddy Boys. There was the other one, they call them, what do you call it? There's 2 gangs. There was the Teddy Boys and there was the
Skinhead.
It was the Skinhead and the Teddy Boys. Then I never got troubled by them. This is the two times I got is that on the site and that police make me pick up that can which I did not touch, and I did feel bad. But I had no. Yes, and I had no option but to pick it as he says. So I did it. Otherwise, I would have got arrested, or they would have beat me up or whatever. And it was this, because black wasn't welcome in this country. Black wasn't welcome. You would find on a big door, no blacks, no dogs, no Irish. Apparently, Irish suffer the same as the blacks because they wasn't allowed in this country. The Irish, they wasn't allowed. They suffer the same as the blacks. And this is one of the reasons you find the Irish and the blacks, they get on very, very well. Yeah, some of them. Mm.
So you never fought back or detested racism?
Say that again, yeah.
You never fought back?
Fall back?
Fought back?
Fought back?
Yeah.
No. I come here to stay, as I say, and I will stay. Then I begin to bring my children up. It gave me more confidence to stay. You see, when my kids came up, they find discrimination as well. Invite on them. Carmen and them find discrimination because they went to the school that there was not many blacks in that school. Elton Green, when I took them to Elton Green, I think there was one Trinidadian and a Bajan black was there. And the schoolmaster said, "Oh, it looked like we doing the West Indians now. There is one black, there's a Bajan and a Trinidadian, which is Calo, and them, that was there." Mm-hmm. And I took Vitus there. Yeah.
So speaking about when your children came, did you have your own house by then?
Yeah. No. When the children came, I was renting little rooms. We all sleep in one room, in 2 rooms. I was renting rooms.
Okay.
I was renting little rooms. We had no heating. We was burning paraffin. When he came, I was living in Lehigh Road with you would know it, like, which is Lena's grandfather. Yeah, we was living together. When they went and bought the house, they leave me with the flat.
Okay.
And this is where, when I come to bring the children up. That was in Lehigh Road. After Lehigh Road, the government was full. It was a private tenant. Then I went to the council. Council housed me in Roll Street. That was in Deptford. Roll Street. From Roll Street, I stayed there with the kids. Then the council moved me to St. Isaac. St. Isaac Road is a road just below me there.
Yeah.
And from there, they moved me to that property where I'm there. So then when they moved me there, well, they moved me twice anyway. But I didn't like the place they moved me to above Lewisham there, what do you call it? That road above Lewisham.
Lucian Way.
I forgot the name.
Lee Green.
Yeah.
Lee Green.
Yeah.
Hither Green. Yeah.
Just above Lewisham. When you leave the college there.
Oh, Belmont Hill.
No.
Blackheath.
No. Lewisham I'm talking about, not Blackheath.
Well, you live at Blackheath above Lucian, isn't it?
No, that's not. When you left Southeast College, you're going down to Lewisham. When you left Southeast College, you go to Lewisham, so it goes up in that junction there goes up.
St. John's?
Huh?
St. John's?
No, not St. John's. I forgot the name of that road anyway. But it's a common road, everybody knows it. Yes, and there's a little shop, a hardware shop.
Charlotte Road?
No, there's a little shop there.
Lucian Way.
No, that's Lewisham Way.
Well, let me carry on.
Yeah.
Anthony.
Is that hill, what do you call that hill? Before you get to Lewisham?
Vickers Hill?
No, not as big as Hill.
Before you get to Lewisham.
Yeah, what's the name of that hill?
Ladywell.
No, Ladywell is out there. When you left Southeast College, you're going down to Lewisham.
Southeast College.
That's Lucian College.
Oh.
There is a liquor shop, a hardware shop, just below it.
Oh. Under Cliff Road?
Lone Pit.
On the Cliff Road, that's right. Oh, there's on the Cliff Road, there's the other road above on the Cliff Road. What?
Over Cliff.
Over Cliff.
No, that's what you were called.
How do you know all these roads?
Yes, I was moved to there
Contact on it.
with the children, and I didn't like the place. It wasn't enough for me. It was enough, but it was attic, which I didn't like the attic, so I refused it. Then they give me where I am there. Where I am there, I find it was suitable. When my wife and T will say, all right, let's get her for it. Yes, sir. And we bought it.
So when did the other 4 children come into it? For example, Sandra, Kenneth, Deborah, David.
Yeah.
At what point? Where was you at the point when you had them? Was it Deptford or?
Yeah. Well, at that point they began to come in from Lehigh Road. Yeah. From Lehigh Road. Yes, I had all of them from Lehigh Road.
Oh, okay.
From Lehigh Road, I had Kenneth. First back from Lehigh Road. Yes. But when my wife came up, I had to get a little room from Hazelden Road. You know Hazelden Road in Crofton Park?
Yeah.
Hazelden Road. There's that guy I'm talking about all the time named Green.
Yeah.
Green does me one of the biggest favors I could ever find. You see, that's before I sent for this for my children. When T was coming up, that was 1962. The day she arrived, before she arrived, I couldn't find a place to put her. because Rufus was living with me. Rufus was living with me at that time in Lehigh Road. Yes, sir. Rufus was living with me. You got a little room there. I got a little room there. So I had to move out and to bring tea out. I got that room from this man the same day he arrived. I went down to Waterloo and picked her up. I moved to that little room, and that's where Ken came in. He said, when we move out from there, that's when I began to send for the kids. Partly when I moved out from there, I went back to Lehigh Road again. That's where I sent for the children.
Okay. And you mentioned Uncle Rufus, so were your brothers and sisters, did they come to England after you?
Uncle Rufus came a couple of weeks before me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The reason why, because after Dad passed away, he left cattle, he left a lot of things. So I start selling and sent Rufus up. I said, now look, Rufus, go up and see out life. And when you get up here, he says to me, well, there is work for carpentry here. And I didn't take no heed. I took heed. I take no chance. I paid what, 65 pound at that time. 65 pound for the fare. And I came up.
That's the fare from St. Lucia to
St. Lucia, yes.
Wow.
65 pound was 300 and something dollars.
But 65 pound was worth more back then, isn't it?
Yeah, 65 pound was about 300 something dollars.
£100.
At that time, $360, $370, I think. It was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of carpentry, what is the biggest carpentry job you've worked on?
Oh, the biggest carpentry job, as I say, is engineering, the construction engineering, working on the river, and working in the docks. Yeah.
Do you want to speak more about that?
Yeah, I was pleased because I got papers from Woolwich that take me to Silvertown with Morlams to say, well, I can work on the water and I can work in waters. Yeah. And from there, with Morlams, when there was work was very scarce in this town. In those days, in that particular time, I think Edward Heath was in power at that time, and people was allowed 3 days a week to work. There was no work, and so I went up all the way to Cambridge with Morlams to work, and I had to get to Cambridge at 8 o'clock in the morning, which means that when 5 o'clock in the morning I've got to be Liverpool Street to take the train to get up to Cambridge to start work at 8 o'clock. Yeah. From Cambridge, I went to work with John Lenz, Peter Lenz. Yeah, Peter Lenz, not John Lenz, Peter Lenz. I worked with Peter Lenz as a first and second fixer. Then when I left there, I worked with Wits. I retired with Wits in Silvertown, not Silvertown, Camden Town.
Okay.
Camden Town. I retired there with Wits. With Wits, I become a chartered of like a foreman like. Then I said, well, if I can do it for Wits, I can do it for myself. I went on my own. As I'll subby, I want to call it, subcontractor. I did well, I was doing well, but as I wouldn't say a black man, as an ordinary man, you find people who was taking advantage. They didn't want to work. But I spent a little time until I said, all right, I'll leave it alone. I went bankrupt at one time. I went to court for bankruptcy. Yes, sir. Working and I got broke. Yes, sir. So, but after that, I used to take my little job. Yes, and I get on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So aside from working, what did you do to relax? So
Nothing.
did you have any hobbies, music? Did you
No.
anything you used to do?
I didn't do music in this country.
Okay.
I did a little bit of music back home again. It's because I like music and I can listen to music. I remember my dad bought me a little banjo. So I also look after the animals again. I play that little banjo when I'm going to watch together look after the animals in the bush. I play that little banjo. Then I learn all the keys from that, a lot of keys, from it. Then after a while, I find myself playing with music with big bands. Now the big bands that was down there was, when I say big bands, it was big orchestra bands. Some other guys that was in that band, they learned music. I didn't know anything. I didn't learn music. But I can hear keys, I can hear music. So I used to chord with them. And I played big dance with them until I left.
So you didn't carry that on when you came to England?
Do?
You didn't carry it on when you came to England?
No, I didn't carry a banjo in England. I never played a banjo in England. I never played one in England.
Okay.
I did like to play accordion. When I went to look for accordion, I couldn't get one. But the music again, I did very, very much like. I didn't get myself to get accordion. Up to now, I didn't get one. Yeah.
Okay, so was you ever a policeman?
Yeah.
Was you ever...
Did you ever? Yeah.
Was you a policeman?
A policeman?
Yeah.
No, I didn't a policeman.
No, I remember one time I asked you.
I never been a policeman, I never a policeman.
No, we got to cut that out.
No. I remember one time, I asked you back in the days, you said you played in a police band or something like that.
Yeah, but it was not a policeman, it's a simple band, I'm telling you. It was a policeman. I told you I play in big bands. I play in big bands. Now, the big band I played in, it was a police band, well, because in those days the police didn't have a band. So the police band was a band that was these guys they learn music. They learn music. There was the clarinet, there was the trumpet, the saxophone, the trombone, the drum, the guitar, but there's a banjo was missing. Then I played with them, as I say, without any reading music. But the chords I know, the chords, I correspond with them, and I played with them. Yeah, but I wasn't a police. I played with these guys as big bands, as I say. I didn't even know they were police bands, but they were big bands. And I play for other bands as well. Other private, other bands, I play with other bands.
So you didn't do anything, and you didn't have any hobbies, for example, any parties, pubs, clubs?
Well, as a young man, I tried to play football.
Okay.
There's a team, a young guys team, play football, but my aunt, the aunt I brought up with, never wanted me to play football. In the school, they select us after school to go and play, with the school was playing against school in those days. My aunt never wanted me to play, so I had to leave it. But when I grew up, I did join a team called VSADC, but I couldn't survive there because I used to work. I had to work. And that team was boys, that college boys who went to high school. So I went to work, I got to work and go and meet them on the field. When I get to the field, game start already. And I'm tired. So I had to leave it alone.
What position was you, Grandad? What position did you play? What position on the field?
Yeah, I used to play forward.
Oh, you was a striker?
Yeah, striker, yeah, I play forward because I was a good runner.
Okay.
And as I say, I was strong.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to walk about 6 miles in the morning to go to work, walk 6 miles to come back. And when I get to the field, I'm tired. And game already started. It's a game already started. Game already started. So after that, I left it. Funny enough, all the boys that I went to school with, they all get to big position. Some of them are lawyers. Most of them are lawyers. Yeah. Some of them became MPs. You see. And I can remember the name of all of them. Like Ira Dove, Vincent Frossack. These are two guys that become lawyers. Their fathers could afford anyway. Yeah. Yeah.
So, did you ever used to smoke or drink?
I used to drink a lot. Smoking, I never keen on smoking. But in those days, if you're drinking, you got to smoke. As I say, after work, you buy a bottle of rum and a packet of cigarette each man. So, but I smoke, but I never take it to granted.
Yeah.
When I came in this country, I started smoking, but I didn't keep it in.
Okay.
I came up with that same smoking habit, but it didn't stay with me. But the drink stood with me, so I took a little drink, you know.
And it's still going down.
Sometimes I take too sometimes I take too many. There's one there.
What was your favourite drink?
Yeah, well, spirit is not my favorite drink. My favorite drink is beers.
Oh,
John Smith?
John Smith, yes. John Smith. So when I go to the pub, I say, give me a smooth. It's called smooth as well, you know. I say, I want something smooth as me. And they know John Smith.